Alright everyone, the failure of the Cringe Fringe is now complete. The Soviet Union fell a couple of days ago, but now it's been completely dismantled. Like the CHAZ farm is gone, the Antifa farm. By the way, someone sent me like the final picture that was available there. Oh my god, it sucked. Like it looked like half their vegetables had died, or were just stunted and fucked up, which is like, you know, you get stunted and fucked up people, so I'm not particularly surprised. But it's been dismantled, like the roadblock things are gone, or they're in the process of clearing them. The police went in force, and there were still a handful of people that were there, and they got swept aside without any trouble. It was largely peaceful once 100 cops showed up heavily armed. People, all of a sudden, these people who had been so rowdy for weeks and with so much bravado talking about the revolution, all of a sudden scattered and ran. I wonder how that happened. It's almost like the Seattle mayor could have done that in the fucking first place. And it's funny, because why do you think they dismantled CHAZ? Here's why. Because a group of protesters, demonstrators, rioting thugs mostly, decided to show up actually at the mayor's house. Whoops. So you're allowed to fuck over local business owners and essentially shut down a chunk of downtown Seattle. Nobody will do a damn thing. In fact, they'll actually invest money in it by building roadblocks to keep you safe. And this is what the Seattle mayor apparently believes is fruitful. But then, when those same people have a vigil outside of the mayor's house, all of a sudden, you know, revolutionary man bad, I guess. All of a sudden, CHAZ is no longer a symbol of peace. It's funny, because I remember like a week and a half ago, the Seattle mayor was saying, Trump needs to shut up, stay away from Seattle, we can mind our own things. Elizabeth Warren, she made a tweet there, she's like, Seattle is perfectly fine, stop worrying. And of course now, what's the death toll from CHAZ at this point? Like a couple of teenagers got shot the other day, and that's being used as the excuse to dismantle CHAZ, but it was really the fact that they showed up at the mayor's house, probably. How many people ultimately, at the end of the day, died as a result of CHAZ? I believe it was several. I don't know the exact number. Some shot, and there were stabbings and so forth. So several people died. There were literally hundreds of assaults, enormous damage to local businesses during a recession, no less, during a pandemic, no less. How many people got infected because they went to CHAZ and got, coronavirus? It's funny because they had a fluff piece the other day, I think it was Vice, and they're like, well, the Black Lives Matter protests probably have slowed the number of coronavirus cases down. It's like, today on things that are absolutely impossible, the 180 of truthiness. Meanwhile, Trump's rally, of course, caused a spike of cases well before the incubation period. I'm thinking there might not be fairness in this reporting, but that's just me. So CHAZ is gone. The Antifa garden is gone. Again, the last picture that I saw of it was pathetic, to tell the truth. It's on Twitter there. I think I reshared it. It's just terrible. It's a mess. And the amount of graffiti that's there, it's going to take them a long time to scrub all the graffiti off. See, like the local owners of these buildings, they're not going to go out into the street and start wiping away the vandalism while the occupiers are actually there, heavily armed in some cases. By the way, there was no apparent attempt to arrest most of these people. You know, they very wisely waited till the middle of the night to scurry off through an alleyway or something in order to avoid federal charges for insurrection. They should all be taken in under the Insurrection Act. They should find these people. You have plenty of video of these people, much of which was taken by them themselves. Find out who these people are and fucking arrest them on federal charges. Throw them in jail for 10 years. Throw them in a high security prison. Let them get some tattoos. Let them meet people that actually have been from the lower classes in many cases of society. Let them meet all of those people that they claim to speak for in prison. Let them meet Manny the murderer so that they can shit their pants. It'd be really funny. They walk around with their fucking rifles there that they probably had never even fired before, number one. They come from mostly a middle-class, trust fund, gated community background. They'll shit their pants if they go to federal prison. And they should. Every single one of them. These were not protesters. These were people engaged in an attempted insurrection that were, at the very least, even people just milling about there were usually disrupting things and breaking windows or at least conducting vandalism. And they were all trespassing in many cases on private property, because of course, buildings surrounding the area that they were pretending to occupy, many privately owned, as opposed to the park that they just completely destroyed. It'll take a while to wash away the filth there in Seattle. It'll be difficult, of course, because Seattle is tilted off a cliff of far leftism. Dude, your mayor literally supported an armed insurrection for several weeks. Again, until she finally freaked out and shit her pants because the protesters were outside of her home. All of a sudden, her safety was endangered and she was ashamed. It was funny, again, it was really, really funny that they waited for an excuse for another couple people to get shot, and one of them, who I believe wasn't even 18, to be killed by the rioters there, the hoodlums in CHAZ. They wait until that particular opportune moment to clear the last dregs of them out. It's just an excuse, of course. They didn't really care how many people got shot. That's obvious since they were getting shot and stabbed and raped all along and they never did anything. They could have gone in force on day one and easily cleared these people out. And odds are 100 to 1 that there never would have been a shot fired by the rioters, who were so supposedly well-armed and well-organized and ready to fight for their CHAZ. A bunch of LARPers, mainly. Cowards. Dregs. Thugs. These people aren't tough one-on-one. They have to mob old women 3 to 1 in order to win a fight. It's a bunch of pasty-faced, limp-wristed little dicks, basically. People with, I don't know, they have various mental problems in some cases, psychopaths, violent individuals, lunatics basically. That comprises some of the far left, the Cringe Fringe as I call them now. By the way, Cringe Fringe is definitely the term of the year. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Yeah, after 6 different shootings or something like that, it's about time that they finally dismantled it. They dismantled the monument to far left hate. And now, again, the business owners are suing the city, suing the mayor. And they're probably suing the police. The police wanted to get involved. The mayor was like, oh, it's a peace fest. They put out a circular there where they denied that completely and said the mayor's wrong. This mayor should not be allowed to hold office. She should be charged too. She was aiding and abetting all of the criminal activity that was going on here. She completely ignored her duty as the mayor of the city. First and foremost, to defend people's lives and property. She fundamentally failed at this. If she gets reelected, the people of Seattle are goddamn crazy. You'd have to be insane to reelect her. And it's insane that there were Democrats on a national level, like Elizabeth Warren and so forth, but even Biden, supporting all of this. Literally supporting it, calling it, trying to whitewash it and call it a protest. When you stop gaslighting, it was never a protest to begin with. People erecting barricades and harassing local business owners and walking around with a bunch of guns. If a bunch of people that were waving Gadsden flags and doing this, you would have called them terrorists. Biden would condemn them. It wouldn't matter if they were, staging a protest for free speech or whatever. They would call them terrorists. Biden, Warren, certainly the mayor of Seattle, and the police would have been ordered by the mayor, I'm sure, to go in at the first sign of trouble. They would have gone in instantly. Partially because people on the right are actually capable of using firearms, so they worry a little bit more. That's basically the way it is, though. So yeah, bye-bye Antifa Garden. I will never get as funny a moment as the first time that I saw the Antifa Garden, and Liz would attest to this. I laughed so hard I was almost crying. My ribs hurt because I laughed so hard when I saw the first few pictures of the Antifa Garden and how shitty it was, with the fucking cardboard, with dirt heaped on top of it, and dead pepper plants all wilted in the sun, and weird shit like that. It's like, these people didn't know what they were doing. From day one, from stem to stern, all these people are idiots, basically. I mean, you have to be a socialist anyway, I mean, communist. But the garden failed, everything failed. Yeah, and then there are a bunch of people that are dead because of them. Again, charge them all. Every single one of them. Bring them up on federal charges. Barr should get involved. Get off your ass and do something. That's about all. Peace out.